Okay, so welcome guys. Again, this is our SAM Talks. We're going to talk today about documents in SAM and just all the different ways that you will find or interact with documents. And it'll start simple, things that may be evident to people, but to make sure everything is clear. So, let me actually add this. Okay. All right, so I'm going to first go, I'm going to be hanging out in a family record, primarily just because I think we do a lot of documentation on a family in general. I'm going to keep going. This is my little test record that I've been playing with. And we'll talk documents. So documents are under SAM links, and they're here. Some agencies, if you had renamed your documents forms, they may still be somewhere else if you used to manipulate in the old version. But for the most part, you're going to find documents in the same spot under SAM links for all entity types. So I'm looking at a family specifically, but if I were to go into my person record, and I've renamed my name, but here, documents is going to reside here. Same for organizations, children, etc. You're really going to find it there. And this is our document repository. So anywhere that you are uploading documents on a record, they'll all by default go into this section. And I'll talk about later settings that you can adjust to determine why they might not go in that section. So basic stuff about documents is, again, this is your document repository. So wherever these documents are coming from for this record, they're all combined into this section here. So really simple stuff. You can add a document. Your add forms may be on the sidebar, or you may have a plus sign here. It's a setting in how a subform in this case is built and where you're adding from. You can actually have it in both. At some point we may adjust only sidebar, only on the header, but there's a lot of technical things in development that we have to take into account for additional functionality that we'd like to add in for it. So we have a lot of thought process kind of going on that right now. So real simply, you can add a document record to using an add form, and you will always set the document type. So this is just your team's description of what this document is. So I'll stick in here, choose a form. I'm just going to stick in something like this. And you can add any of these dates or anything else. Your form may be slightly different if you've done any configuration that maybe you guys want additional data around a form. So I don't know what that's going to look like specifically for you, but by default, it pretty much looks like this. The two things that, well, the one thing that's required is what type of document is here. You'll probably want to upload that document unless you use this as a collection device of documents that you need, rather than documents that you have. Receive date is the date that document was entered into, when you received it. There is an enter date that's not displayed here that comes by default, and it's literally when this record is created, regardless of what day it was actually received in your office or signed or anything like that, or the document date on there. It is the document enter date is a field that SAM uses for modification history purposes. We are showing an approved date. You can choose or not choose to use that at an expiration date. And then this date here, this updated document received, is a way to tell SAM when a document expires that you have received a new document, and SAM no longer needs to consider this document record in its calculations if you have anything going on around expired documents. So I'm going to press through here, and oh gosh, what did I just do? I just added the application form. I did not put the date in, but it is set here. This is a sub form describing documents, and you may have a different sort. I actually am trying to look at how it's sorted. I'm assuming it's sorted by received date. And because I did not enter that, it just shoved it down in the middle. If I were to change that date to today's date, I believe it's going to show right up at the top if that's how this form is sorted. There you go. So yes, so it changed immediately on us. Documents can be downloaded, right? So we can open that up and see what that is to use that. Documents can also, so that is like just a simple adding a document, but documents can be added from other sections of the site. And what I mean by documents can be added is you can upload a document through a checklist or another form, and that is automatically going to create a document record. So you have, again, in your document repository, wherever you've asked that document to be uploaded, they're all shown in this section. So I'll kind of describe uploading documents in other sections of the site. So on the checklist, you get to decide if a checklist item is really a document that you're collecting, especially for the home study process. Well, really everything y'all do is around what documents you're collecting. A lot of documents besides, therapeutic kind of counseling things that you do in relationship building. In the database, you're doing a lot of document collecting. So documents on checklist sections, you get to decide what the document is called or what the checklist item is called. And in the settings for checklist, you can determine, again, whether you're going to upload a document there or not. So internally, for your users, being your staff or contractors that are accessing SAM, you can use this checklist and upload documents. So when a document is not uploaded, it looks like this. There is no date complete here. If I upload a document, we are going to see the document and the date will be entered. So I'm going to stick the same document in there. And the icon changes. We can now open that document, which is the same document. Or, and what I don't see here, do I need to refresh the screen? I don't see the date entered, but it sure should be. So I'm going to make a note of that. I need to check in on that. The date should be entered because that is done in our world as far as Sam notes it. So to what? Is there anything else right here? Oh, that document now exists. Gosh, that was a confidentiality statement in the documents section. And here it is listed here. So even if you've uploaded documents in the checklist or families uploaded documents in the checklist, they're going to go over to this section as well, as long as your settings allow for that. And by default, the settings are set up to do so. I'm going to go back to the checklist and open the public checklist so that we can see the view from a family's perspective. They have slightly different icons, I think, if I remember correctly, and their icons look a little different. So here is that, that date completed is not being entered. So that's new to me. But a family can be provided a document to download. So in this release of information, we're actually in the settings for this, not asking them to sign it and do anything with it, but just download the information. So that is also possible in a checklist setup, is you just don't set a document upload field. And the family can download whatever that information is. And then they can also upload it. Their upload looks like this. And you can click and upload. The date completed should be entered. So I will be looking into that as soon as we jump off. Weird. And then we get the date completed here. And it's showing to the client as though it is done. Clients don't, and when I say client, in this case, it is your clients that are considered end users. They don't get to download documents that they've uploaded. Essentially, they already have it on their local drive. If they've downloaded a PDF and they've signed it, they have to save it in order to upload it. So they have a copy of this. SAM is definitely set up to be your tool more so than their tool. That was the intent behind SAM when it was built. So it is not a document collection for the family because they already have it on their local drive. So the icons change, date is entered, and they can still see what they need to do. That's just how they would see that, besides the date is not entered. All of those documents will go from the family. Oh, what did I just enter? Was a driver's license. And I couldn't tell you which because it may be hidden in here. There. And I don't, unless I have my driver's license set up incorrectly, my checklist section, this is the driver's license that I just updated. So PIH is like a person in home. So I think my document type on the checklist is not exactly what I want it to be, but that document is uploaded here. Oh, I'm getting a little internet connection is unstable, but that just went away. So I think that's that. This document type is available to be edited. In the new version of SAM, cannot jump right to this. There used to be a little edit link. You can access that by clicking View Field Properties. And you'll be taken to the field properties screen for that document type. Here's the list that it's using. And you can go in and manage that list. So just by clicking on the list name, you can be taken to the list to make changes to it. Some of the important things on here are the document category and exclude from document list. So these are settings or attributes that are given to the specific list items that you have here. So if I go and edit one, I'm going to get two additional options. The document category is really a foldering, a way of foldering. I think the name is a little funny because I don't think it resonates, but that's what its intent is to allow you to categorize, you know, a medical form, a dental form, a optical form, a mental health form, a physical, things like that that are all medical, where you could say these are all medical documents and they can be shown using the document category. This list, this document category list, is accessible. If you copy it, you can go find it under, sorry, wrong one, list, and go in and put in document category. It does appear to be shared amongst the different entity types. So if I back up one step, this shows you all the fields that it applies for. So it's showing us all the different entity types, document types. When I click into it, these are the only two that I have right now. So if I got 4 applications, because the family's been in our program for a long time, we can have applications going under applications category. As an example, you might have addendums to an application that all go into the application category, so your team can easily find that. I think because of how this is displayed on screen, it's not evident that you can use this, but this is actually quite helpful. I've seen people build fields that are replicating this, and it's not necessary. In actuality, you should really use this as ways to filter, and you can use this document category on reports to narrow down, and you can certainly use it on different document subforms to filter things if you wanted that as well. And so you can add list items like you would on any other list. and then apply that to your specific document type. So managing your document type list is important. I've absolutely seen agencies with 1,800 document types because there is a lot of duplication in what's going on. So managing a list is important to do, so that you don't have too much replication. And then you can set the document category if you want to use that. Exclude from document list would be used if this document type were on a form. So I mentioned medical, and I believe that's really what the initial intent was for this option, is to allow users to see all documents except medical documents if you wanted to exclude that. If you wanted a user's permission to not have access to medical information, you could limit that to just in the medical forms, and you can upload data or documents there, and they would reside in the medical forms, but not actually go into your document repository. So this will make it so that if I upload a document with that document type through a form or a checklist, it will not go into the document category or the document repository. And you can then only see those types of documents in the forms. Okay. So that is a limitation to going in. By default, it's open. And so all documents go into that document repository. Let's see, I'm gonna jump back here. I've mentioned uploading documents on forms a couple of times, but not actually shown you that effort. So you have a lot of different sub-records in SAM, sub-records to the case or sub-records to the family that you can use to describe a process for managing that type of record, or provide lots of other details that you're not going to get on the checklist screen. Or yeah, I mean, it's the information about that specific record. So going to a record is just as important as managing in a checklist. So a home study, these are home study records, and we are offering our users in this site a place to upload the home study documents. So just like in the document repository, there's a form, I can download that document. Oh, that is a cute time. So we can see that document from there. You can also upload documents, right? And then I can put in another document. If I stick this in, I'm going to keep using the same document. This is the home study. So now I have that new document. It's here that we've seen over and over again. And if I go over to the document section, I'm going to see the home study here as well, where I just uploaded it. So because that form, that document type is set up to not exclude it from the document list, it goes right into here. When documents are uploaded, they are automatically named. Oh. So in the URL, you can see it's named as the entity's name and the document type. And that is going to be consistent for every time the site is set up like that. What I'm kind of grimacing about is I think there's a way to change that, and I don't remember how to change that setting. I don't remember how to change the setting. It's not in that document type list. So my thought is that it's on the document form. I may have to follow back up with that. But by default, it gives you a very simple way to refine that form. Or have it named when you're providing a link to somebody. It'll give you some information just from that. Let's see. So let me jump back to this home study. And I'm going to go now and update or replace this document, even though it was such a cute document. I'm going to stick in the same document we've been looking at. and press save. So that document got updated. We're now going to see this same document we've looked at. Sam is recording all of the changes. So under advanced options, you can access modification history. When I click on that, Sam, for this document here, is actually providing us the old document, right? That cute little picture and the new value. So you can see what differences are there. So like you're not losing the fact that you had an old document there. We have seen before where families uploaded a blank, like a black box on top of their application form. I don't understand why they would do a thing like that, but it was done. And this was put in place to show where those changes were. So you would always have the older document. Okay, so that is a tool, right? Even through the modification report, you can pull down your documents and see version history where things were updated. Okay, let's talk about sharing documents. So ways to share documents. You can always go to the document, right-click, copy link, and give it to somebody who has access to it. You can even see, because I uploaded on top of this, right? It's put a -2, so Sam is constantly changing. If I put it as the minus the 2, it would give us that old link, and here is that document. So you can provide that. It's only going to work for people who have access to Sam. So you cannot give that to your clients. You cannot give that to an external person that you're working with in relation to this family or client, but you can use that internally if you needed to get somebody direct to documents. You can also share documents out by emailing them. So under the document repository, this email documents has been moved out from under advanced options, and it's moved here to offer you more visibility to that. When you click here, you can then select which of these 17 document records do you want to actually email out. Click in whichever ones that you want to send. And then I believe it's who do I want to send to? I'll send it to myself. And then I think you're going to get the template. Do you want to send it with a template? Or yeah, I think that's it. You got to have a template built at this point in order to send this out. So you can say we're sending it through here, and it's going to create attachments. I've got a couple cases going on this family, so it doesn't know which one is where I'm choosing that. And the attachments are shown down here. So these are the 2 documents that we're attaching, and we can also add additional documents if we wanted, like really love this document and we want to send that as well. So that is going to send out with 3 document attachments. Because I'm sending it out of SAM, I'll have that message in our communication record after a couple minutes for it to do its processing. Not everybody has this, but it is totally easy to set up and possible. I'm going to put in an expiration date that's upcoming. So I don't remember what this document is, but I'm going to put this as a future upcoming date. This is a subform based on family documents that has a filter, and the filter is set to something like the expiration date is upcoming in the next 2 months, and we do not have this field entered, right? So if I uploaded a new application form or a homestay form or anything that would be updated, Sam doesn't really know unless you mark it as such that original form has been, you've got a more recent version. So if really this document here, this application form still exists here, because this is showing all family documents regardless. We don't want you, when you start filtering on subforms, it's really easy to feel like your data is missing. It is not missing, it's just not shown in a view that we've set up, right? And we've customized to set up. So this is, again, specific to a subform that's built in just for expiring documents to show in this way. As soon as I enter the state and say, oh yeah, no, we actually have this document received, Sam is now telling us there's no more expiring documents. So that's a nice customization to build in if you don't have that already. And it's also possible, I talked about that document category, you could absolutely have subforms built on family documents that are filtered down to, these are all the medical forms, or these are all of our home study documents, or these are all of our background checks, or whatever major category, right? I'm pretty focused on family, but you could do this in a child section as well, or in your person section. And I only mention persons because I know people do this. So I'll just preface, Sam is not an HR system. If someone has a full admin, they can see everything. And that is where Sam will fail as an HR system. But we do have people that limit their full admins to very, like the executive director only, or one other trusted person. So it's possible even in persons to collect contractual documents there. Ooh, I'm gonna bring in some else. And you could have subforms of documents that display on, these are this person's contractual agreement, or this is their release of information. However way you want to fold or categorize a group of document types, you can use that as a filter on subforms. Made a note, and I'll go ahead and talk to it, is another way that people have used SAM. I'm going to go to my organization record, is adding under your organization record, or depending on the size of your organization, you may have one main headquarters or something. In the organization's document repository, people are absolutely putting their most recent version of specific documents in here. So every time we update our agency contract or our fee schedule, you could upload the most current version into here so that your team can always go here and pull down the most recent version. So I don't know where people are putting that today, but it absolutely is a way that people have added documents into SAM. Let's see, so about that. Okay, so I do want to show you creation form and type. Okay, some of the building blocks. If you're on checklists, you can add documents here. So I'm going to stick with my family, and let's add a fee schedule here. I don't really have a fee schedule document, but I'm going to add this in here. So I'm really just showing a checklist item just to talk through the steps of adding a document here so that you can see that and again, see how things are built. I am going to be creating a new field. It's on the case, and I'm going to put our fee schedule. And I'm not really focused on any of these. What I want to talk about is document upload and visibility for your clients. So if this is a document that you want the family or your client to sign and provide you a revised version of that, you can select or create a document field. If you are building a brand new checklist item that doesn't exist, you're almost always going to create a new document type field. SAM automatically puts in the same name and just appends document upload. So it has a difference because you cannot have the same field name on a table. SAM will needs to individualize that. So it'll put parentheses 2, 3, 4 if you've got a lot of duplication going on. But this is where you also set the document type, and you've got your list. So we've got a fee agreement. Now, what I find often when I jump into client sites is that you may call it a fee agreement in one spot for one program, and then you call it a fee schedule for another. There's a lot of minute titling, and they may totally be different documents, but if they're not, managing that list is important. And you can also have multiple documents that actually have the same document type. Like perhaps you are uploading a bunch of on your background check form, you might have an FBI check, a state check, a child abuse check, a local check, a sex offender check, whatever types of clearances, but maybe you just want to categorize them all as clearances. That would be totally acceptable way of setting up your system. But this is really managed by your team. So you can add that. This is where you get to set it. If you did not, if a fee agreement is different, you can create new doc type and it all matches. And this is exactly what you want, is everything to really fall in line. So this is just the spot where you're offering your team or your clients a space to upload that particular document you're requesting. For the public settings, where if you allow this to be shown to clients, so end users can now access this checklist item, you'll check the shown for clients box. And if you want to provide the current version of your fee schedule, this would be one of those nice things, is if all of your current versions of templated documents are under the organization record, you can open your organization record, download it, upload it right here. Otherwise, you're going to wherever that stuff is to pull down the specific document. You're going to keep using the same thing. And this is what allows this document, the family, to download that document, to open it up from the checklist, download it, sign it, and put up an upload to you. This is the upload section. This is the section that you want to provide the actual document for them to download. And then press save. In the checklist section, it is going to show us what the upload spot and the downloadable document. So the fee schedule is here. It allows us to see the document upload that we're requiring an upload for it. And then this is that same lovely document that we're looking at over and over again. That is what you are allowing them to download. Oh, okay. And then I've got also on a form over here. Let's look at Barry really quick, and we'll go to the background checks. So I'm going to go to the details screen so I can see everything that's there. I don't think we have a sex offender, but it is a very common for some states to collect that too. So I'm going to go and edit this form. And I'm going to the original form because that happened to be a copy. And we are going to add a field. Now, one of the things I don't actually know if this exists. So in this current version of SAM, we have limited your ability to just build a new field right from a form. And we did that purposely, even though it's kind of it feels cumbersome, but because there's so much duplication that we find in client sites, we want you to be very specific. So to add a new field, you go to settings, tables and fields. You're going to choose the table that you're building it on, which is background checks, and we're going to add a field there. So from here, I'm going to add the sex offender clearance. And then I set the type of field that it is, which is a document upload, right? That's what we're going to do, is we're telling the system I want to upload a document here. And then I set the document type, which is really what I want you to get at, is So I don't have something called clearance. I do have a sex offender check, so I'm going to go with that. I do have the little edit button. I would right click it. That's what I would do and get to the list. If I wanted to add a list item called clearances, because I want to start grouping everything together. Kind of depends on, again, what your aim is and how specific you want everything to show up. So that is adding it to the table. Then I'll jump back to the form and add the field. It'll be easily accessible now. Here's my clearance, and I'm sticking it onto the form. And when you add fields to the form, it shows up here. All of this is dynamic. So if I refresh this page, that new field that we just created is going to be accessible, I think right here. Pop in and I can use it. It's going to work exactly as every other document upload works. I have no special settings. I can open it. I can go back to the record and see the document upload right here. I can still access that. Cool. So I have two more things I want to talk about, which is some of the forms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I ever go and modify this form in the current version of Sam is going to say, you can't put any more columns on here. There today is a limit of 5 fields. And we did that specifically to kind of help align the fields, because I don't know about you, but I find this when it is, let me look at the default view. When the data is kind of all over the place, I find it really difficult to read. So we were looking at ways that we can organize so that fields stack better and more clean. I'm not positive I have the complete latest version in this site, but that's the aim, is for them to stack up a bit more, making it easier to read. So on this one, though, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I go and edit this again, it's going to tell me, hey, you can't have this many fields on here. And so you have to make amends. So not if you have a, this is a subform. It is a multi-record subform because it's based off of a table that is set as a one-to-many or a multi-record table that allows, right, every record we have here has a document type, a file link, a received date, approved date, right? It has all of those data points, but gosh, y'all collect hundreds of documents. So this can be white loaded over time. And you'll have lots and lots of records, which is what makes it a multi-record, is the acceptance that we can have so many different records. But all of these multi-records, you may have more data than this on a document. So I'm going to pop in to the meatball menu, and this is where you can set your detail and your add or your edit forms here. I'm going to go specifically to the detail form. You can see this even has a completely different layout. It's no longer in a horizontal layout, it's in a vertical layout. And I have probably, I think up here are all those same 6 fields. Maybe there's even something else here that's not displayed. The document notes is just in a different section. And I have in our site kind of high-level modifications. Who did it? When did they do it? The ID of the document, all of that stuff is super important for us to narrow down to very specific records. But in the details for documents, this will also show where this was uploaded for either a record or a field. And so let me go to one where we can see data on it. Was, I think, this home study record. If I pop in here, this tells me that this particular document was actually uploaded from this record. Can look, and I can open up, I think this is going to take me to the details screen, specific home study record. Once it opens, I haven't been here in a minute. It's there, so I can see that's the document that I uploaded. It's telling me really specifically that it came from there. I uploaded it in that home study document field on the home study table for that specific record ID, which is 388, which is that home study ID 388. And then the name of the document that was that is uploaded and what it's changed to. So this is all helpful when it's helpful. It's a lot of information when it's not relevant, right? So there's, I guess what I'm here for talking about is there's a lot of metadata around every document record, but these bits of information help you understand who, when did this get entered, what other connections does it have with other records in the system. I believe if I jump back here to and go to documents, this confidentiality statement, I think was the one that we uploaded from the checklist. Oh, it is, but it's like, it's still connected to that specific home study. So, or yeah, whatever home study this was, is this a different number than we were looking at before? So it was for that home study record, this is for, and we can jump back there. The last thing that I would want to talk about here, and then I'll open it up, I'll stop sharing and open it up for questions, is reports. So reports are fun to link on the sidebar when you're looking at multi-record things. And the reason I think like it's fun, if anything, of this stuff of data administration can be fun. What I like about this is now I'm looking at the family documents report where I'm showing all documents. In my mind, that means there are no filters. When you're dealing with a reports, you have to look at the configuration. That's how you can tell what it is. The name can be anything you want. We could call this crazy clown balloon. It doesn't mean anything except for how this is organized, how the report is configured, which is accessible a lot easier than it used to be in the old site. But when I access this, it is narrowed down to just the client record that I've been looking at. I do have a view all link where I could open up to every record, but as a way of managing your documents, there are absolutely agencies that work from reports, and reports can be managed here as well. So you could documents could be managed here as well. You could open the document to see it. You can make notes. You could have various other fields again on kind of metadata around the document as far as who signed it, who's it specifically for, etc. Okay, so there's all kinds of things that you can do from here. And you should be able, I don't know, I've got document type here, but I don't have the document category that I can see on here. So just to show you what to do to get that, the document category is on its own table. It's a list table, but it's going to be pull. And then if we go under documents, you can pull in document type. And this system doesn't have a lot of settings on it. We could see that when we looked at the document category lists a little bit earlier, but now I have the document type to pull in that document category field. So I could add that to my report, and I can literally, I want to say I can manage it, but before I say I can do a thing, let's just double check. Yep, I can edit it. So I've got only those two choices. Oh, it's parent education or application, because that's all we have in this site. I can click edit, and because I happen to be on application, I'm just going to change that. So you can use reports to manage documents as well. This is not a way to, send all these out via email. It's not going to work like that, but it does provide you a list to work from if you need to audit your document collection, make sure everything is entered, etc. And I've covered everything that I want to talk about. So I'm going to wrap up this recording and then allow you guys to ask any questions. I want to actually